swing and a fly ball out towards right center. Castellanos is there. And the Phillies are National League Eastern Division champs.
Fans are singing along with Bryson Stott's walk-up music.
Out at home plate. What a play by Hoffman. He got him. And the ball game and the series are over. Home run for Kyle Schwarber.
And the Phillies close out the National League East. They are the champions of 2024.
Alrighty, Chasers, welcome back to the end of regular season edition of the Quit Chasing podcast. A little cheeky, a little irreverent, and always unqualified. I'm Alex Kruger. That's Danny Gerb. Danny, say hi to the folks.
Hey, what's up, everyone? How you doing tonight, Alex?
Danny, I am a roller coaster of emotions in real time right now. Folks, as we are recording this, we about 5 minutes ago, Milwaukee was up 2-0 over the Mets, and now Milwaukee is trailing the Mets 3-2. So instead of waiting until the end of the game, we've decided to just rip that Band-Aid off. Let's do this. Let's quit chasing. How's your evening going, Danny?
Yeah, so I have the pleasure of once the Phillies regular season ended, I had my YouTube TV payment. I switched over to Sling, saved $30 a month, thinking I'm not going to have ESPN. So I have the ability to be fairly laissez-faire this evening.
Maybe it's nice. I don't know. It's been really good baseball. I've thoroughly enjoyed the wild card series, tonight excluded. It's been fun.
After watching you two earlier for the last handful of minutes, I feel great.
This is the only season I really had that much vested interest in. Seeing the Braves lose was wonderful, but I don't want to get caught up in the Schadenfreude. But no, it's been good baseball, and I'm ready for the Phillies to start playing again. That's for sure. Yeah,
I'm with you. Alex, we got a fun show, a special show tonight, so I think we should just get right into it.
Just get right to it. All right, so the season that was?
Yeah, do it up, my man.
All right, it's 4-2 Mets, whatever. Who cares? Anyways, all righty, folks. So for tonight, I have not shared with Danny my review of the season that was. Normally I do, but I kind of wanted to surprise him and get his reaction. So you guys enjoy. Tonight, we are doing the season that was. So 'twas the day before postseason throughout the 215, and the beast called the bank was coming alive. So let's humor Alex as he does what he does and takes us all through the season that was. From the slaughter in clear water between Pache and Rowe, one thing was for certain: Jake Cave had to go. As we raised a fake banner, things started off slow. Is it 2023 again? Let's frickin' go. We got signed by a network. Old City Sports goes the name. Things turned around when we went to a game. Danny the Grump's heart grew 3 sizes that day at a City Connect game where he met Audrey and Tay. The quarter table round table, we first welcomed in friends. This team got real hot, dog. We were winners again. We welcomed Mike Roscoe from 2nd and 15. We started posting on YouTube. Now we could be seen. The team packed their bags and to London they flew. Can someone tell Fox? I'm not convinced that they knew. The team was cooling off, but we weren't aware. So we made our rock band. We were fat, dumb, and happy with no cares. But as our All-Stars got hit and the Bone Run Derby was pandered to, I don't remember the All-Star game because we had some work to do. Our first live show, the 999 Challenge against Pitt. We gorged, but they played and we felt like shit. Fish and Chris Ferry joined, beaming into my home, and Danny forgave Matty P for dialing in on a phone. Now the bats had gone cold. Some arms got blown up. Grimace and OMG happened. Seriously, what the fudge? We stopped having fun. We DFA'd media stables. And Let's Read Our Texts was barely a quad air. No more cold opens. Danny recharged in Cali. So I brought in my nephews. Nepotism's right up my alley. Their youthful optimism and hope changed our tune that day. We had fun again and dusted off the May. We talked Ren Fair weirdness, clinched the division in that damn bye. But wouldn't you know, the Mets just won't die. Now, give me a moment. I feel I must mention the ladies who often did not get our attention. To Kara and Kim, from me and Danny, my brother, I promise we do love you both more than each other. So on Schwarber, on Turner, on Bryce with the flair, on Bomer, on Casty, on Stott with the hair. Now JT and Marsh, my dudes, play your roles. And let's pray we aren't slain by our own 9-hole. Let's get that trophy back. Prove Topper's that guy. Don't dance on your own. It's not time to say bye. 162's over, as if you didn't know. It's Red October. Ring the bell, and let's fucking go.
Well done, you big dork. I knew it was going to be cheesy. I knew it was going to be hokey.
Cheesy.
I knew you were going to Alex all over it. I was not expecting that amount of Alex. Well done, dude. The only thing you forgot, you didn't mention Strom taking a break from Hot Girl Summer, but other than that, absolutely phenomenal.
It was so much fun. So, we were talking about how we wanted to recap this season, and we decided instead of recapping the Phillies season, because there's probably about 13 other podcasts that are going to do that, let's recap our season, our inaugural season on the podcasting game. And I feel like I got the right quick hits and I got the good shout outs in there. And dude, once I started, the thing just kind of came to me. It was so much fun making that.
Yeah, good job, man. I think you nailed it. And for, you know what you did? You skipped one thing. Our loyal, our small but mighty listenership went from Chasers to Chase Nation. They graduated along the way with, as we grew, they grew. So
that's so true. That's so true. We are a small but not mighty nation. So yes, that was fun.
Yeah, well done, Alex. Let's go on a break.
Let's do it. Hey there, Chasers. The Quit Chasin' podcast is a proud partner of the Old City Sports Network. Hop over to their website and order some Quit Chasin' merchandise. And while you're there, check out some of their shows after you finish with us. 2nd and 15, the Philadelphia Eagles podcast, Flyers Alley, or The Living Room Show. Support those that support us. Speaking of which, the baseball season is winding down. You'll want to experience the game in person before time runs out. With our sponsor, SeatGeek, you can get $20 off on your first order when you use the promo code Old City Sports Network. Don't forget the E at the end of old. Before you head to a game, you want to make sure you're groomed to perfection. Make sure to check out Warlord Beard Essentials. And while you're there, use promo code OLDSPORTS in all caps and get 15% off, and then free shipping on all orders over $65. Lastly, Chasers, I highly recommend you check out Righteous Felon Jerky Cartel. Head to the Righteous Felon Jerky Cartel site and use code OCSN, all lowercase, and get 15% off of your order, plus free shipping on orders over $50. It's so simple, a Mets fan could almost do it.
Dude, when you recorded that, who knew that was going to bite us in the ass?
Real hard. That the egg on my face, Daniel-san. Egg on my face, but
that's okay. That's what is going on? I see people.
I was in the zone reading my little limerick. It's a lot to a little, I think, like at least 4-2. I'm pretty sure. Right, either way, it hurts my soul. So let's not talk Mets yet. I'm sure they're going to come up. Let's talk Phillies and Chase Nation, as we just alluded to. We often want to put a comprehensive show together that's both informative and fun. And when I think of the Phillies and both entertaining and informative, it's hard not to think of our guest this week. He is a host of the High Hopes podcast, a producer at WIP, and the host of Phillies After Dark. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's The Final Out. Ladies and gentlemen,
Phillies After Dark.
It gives the Quit Chasin' podcast great pleasure to welcome in the one and only Mr. Jack Fritz.
We did the whole thing for you, Jack.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Sure did.
It
is beautiful.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. Yeah. I listened at 1.5, so I've never heard it this way. It is delightful.
Good. Well, I appreciate that. Pete Alonso, I hate. I'm just getting that out of the way. He's the worst. There's no one worse. And now the Brewers do have a runner on base, so we take it. And we are recording this live right now, so the Brewers could come back and win this ball game. I think we were talking maybe 10 minutes ago about how I would rather the Brewers just win it, even though we're both kind of nervous about their pitching, rather than the Mets find some stupid way to come back and win. And of course, what happens is that Pete Alonso hits a home run to give them the lead. So it seems like we're trending towards Phillies Mets, which will be both fun and awful at the same time.
Well, silver lining of it all, my worry about the Brewers was depends. So what do I know, right?
Well, Devin Williams is. I feel like the Phillies have never gotten a single base hit off of him, so maybe that's just us and projecting that onto other teams.
Very possible. If nothing else, dude, everyone's played the last how many days in a row for them, so you got to imagine the jet lag or something. I don't know. I'm looking for silver linings all over the place.
Yeah.
So if you talk about like a hot team, this team has been hot since what, mid-August? Like
London?
I wouldn't go that far, but
wouldn't.
Yeah, I sure if you want to make that argument, but like that's the other thing. Like hot teams, man, how do they stay this hot this long? It's insane. So wheels are falling off, and that is at least my high hope.
Yeah, I mean, you have the hope that this is a team that, I mean, I'm pretty sure they have the best record in baseball since London, so that's kind of worrisome. And before last night, they had won 21 of 30. So, listen, I would be lying if I said that I don't believe that they have the look, and the Pete Alonso home run does not exactly calm me down from that standpoint. But there was a point when they were down 2-0 where it's like you look at the team top to bottom, and it's hard to envision it. You know, I think people have compared them to I think mainly just me, but like the 19 Nationals or maybe the 21 Braves. But the 19 Nationals had Scherzer and Strasburg and Corbin and Turner and Soto, and like they have some good players, but they don't have that. And you look at the bullpen. I mean, the fact that they have David Peterson have to close out this game, I thought he was going to be the game one starter. Maybe he could come back and do that. I don't know, but yeah, they're on paper they're not that scary, but when you get into the games and the never say die kind of attitude, they have that.
They sure do. And Danny, they're coming to the bank. It is official. They just won.
Like I said, bring them, man. Like
bring them on.
You're gonna play a hot team. Let's just get it over with. That being said, man, want to have some fun?
Yeah, let's celebrate the Phillies season thus far, the end of the regular season. Let's have some fun and let's dish out some awards, man.
Recorded live from the Mid-State in various parts of southeastern Pennsylvania, this is the first annual Chasey Awards with your hosts, Alex and Danny, with special guest, Jack Fritz.
You know, when I made that, I didn't know we'd just be staring at each other, and that was way longer than I thought it was going to be.
That's, man, there's nothing worse than that. Like when that in radio, same thing happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
like when I'm sitting at my house, I'm like, oh yeah, that was a flyby. We're looking at each other. My goodness, that went on. So
it's yeah. I got nothing on that, Dano. It's all right though. In theory, the idea and the concept was dynamite. I'll give you that.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that, guys.
Absolutely, gentlemen. Let's go through our list of awards. I figure we'll go in order, and I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say. First and foremost, we have our team MVP. Now, I could tell you that I took an ESPN.com approach to this, but I didn't. I said, for me, the person I declare as the most valuable player, he's the guy that turned around his season in May. He was Mr. 162, and you need consistency, and you need guys showing up every day. And even when everyone else was slumping, Cassie was doing his thing, man. Cassie was proving all the haters wrong, and I love him so much. I love take a few more buttons off. Let's really get into the zone for this season and this postseason, man. Cassie all day. How about you, Jack?
Yeah, I mean, Cassie is a good choice. It's pretty unbelievable. He was batting 180 something at the end of May or whatever. So it seems like he's gonna be the cleanup hitter, which is gonna be interesting. But it's a good choice. I'm going with Schwarber. You know, Schwarber is this team's leader. He had a really good year. Again, the second Philly in team history, or the third Philly to have 2 seasons of 100, 100, 100. And I will always think about where this team would be if he did not hit the grand slam against the Marlins and maybe kind of pulled them out of whatever funk that they were in. So I think I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think he's the most important Philly from the standpoint of I think he brings this locker room together, and I think he's their leader. So I will say Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah, I'm with you, Jack. I had him as well for exact same reasons, except for the Marlins Grand Slam. I liked it. I didn't put that much stock into it, but hey,
we're
man.
moments.
That
we're
was
moments,
the moment.
man. Yeah, we're moments, man, for sure.
That's fair. One of the things that I noticed about him that I liked about him is so if you notice, like after the post games, you got one of three guys that are coming out. It was either Turner, Harper, or Schwarber, and the crappy losses, the ugly losses, the time for someone to step up. Schwarber was always the guy that was coming out for those ones too. So on top of the stuff you said, and like he was the one that was taking the mics on those nights, I agree with you.
Well, he was honestly my second choice. But that's the thing.
Yeah, okay, yeah, jump in. Yeah,
no,
my second choice, guys.
That's the beauty of Schwarber is like he's not as flashy as a Casty, but he is consistent. He does his job. He just gets through it. I love it.
Right. And there is something to be said about Casty's 162, and I do mention it later. But
okay, all right, respect.
Nick Ripken.
I love it. All right, Jack, starter of the year. Who you got?
Well, we know the chalk answer, but I think the thing that has people excited or more excited about heading into this postseason is that you don't feel like you have just two starters in Nola and Wheeler. I'm going to go with Chris Sanchez. I mean, Chris Sanchez was an all-star this year, and if Torey Lovello didn't hate the Phillies as much as he clearly does and has a bias, he would have had a nice inning before he had to get pulled. So Chris Sanchez developing into a legitimate, whether you want to say he's a 2 or a 3, but developing into a top of the rotation kind of arm, it's really important. So I think he has a chance to go on a really good run here. I would pitch him game 2. I know that's the hot debate in the streets, but I think Chris Sanchez development into a real number 3, and then you start again dreaming on the rotation with Painter in it, and then there's some Garrett Crochet stuff out there. But regardless, they signed him for a couple of years. It's great, and I thought Chris Sanchez, outside of a couple starts, was really, really good for this team.
I had the same. I had Chris. I saw two of my live games last year were Sanchez, and at the first time I was like, "Great, I'm going to a Sanchez game." Then the second time I was like, "Oh, sweet, I'm going to a Sanchez game." Like, there's just something about him. You can depend on him to typically, knock on wood, not give up more than 3 runs, and as long as the bats come alive, like he's going to do his job, and he does. There is something about him. It's like Ranger the last 2 years. There is a cold, calm collectedness to him, and I don't think he's really been getting rattled, and just he's matured, man. He's a grown up. Sanchez all day. How about you, Danny?
Well, he was my second choice, right?
Shut up. All right, who was your choice?
Well, I obviously went with the stock answer. I mean, it's got to be Wheeler. Like he's your guy. He's your workhorse. He did the 200. You got to think that Sales probably. You're Cy Young, but that not.
Come on, man! 23 innings, 23 innings.
That's what I'm saying. Scratching that last start, getting the 200. Like I think there is. I think there's a high chance you see it, and I put him as start of the year for the Phillies. I mean, I get what you guys are saying, but how do you not go Wheeler?
I get it. You know what? I've never really picked the popular ones. My favorite Looney Tune wasn't Bugs. Okay, I like to go a little avant-garde with it. It is what it is.
Fair enough.
Having said that, Danny, Fireman of the Year, who you got?
Yeah.
And explain what Fireman of the Year is to my mom so that she understands what you're saying there.
The little boys have so it's your reliever. You're bringing him in. He's cleaning up messes. He's putting out the fire. It's literally where the turn came from. They're typically coming 30 innings. So here's the deal. You want to say Jeff Bartman, right? Like he is the definition of the fireman. He's a reliever, setup man, closer. None of that exists in a topper deployment world. But fireman, you can give him that title, no questions asked. That being said, I gave it to Strom. So Strom is pitching a sub-2 ERA right now. He's got about 4 innings less than Hoffman. So, is what it is. But I like Strom. I like his stuff. I think he's dependable. Drilling Gavin Lux in LA, putting down his latte to run out of the clubhouse to join the fracas against the Rays. Like all of that factored into my decision, and I went with Strom.
I can respect that. What about you, Jack? Who's coming out of the pen for you?
So I'm going to go with a guy who's been really good, but a bit of a projection at the same time. Because there was a time there in the middle where he was not throwing his fastball for whatever reason. Okay. And it's just, let's understand when you are at your best is when you're throwing your fastball more. But I'm going with the Ryan Kerkering, who I think that in the postseason, when it starts, it's going to start on Saturday, whatever, you know what I mean? He's going to be that kind of guy. He's going to be in the Hoffman role of last year, where Hoffman was the first guy out of the bullpen to get a big out. I think that everyone's kind of pushed back now. I think Strom's pushed back. I think Estevez is pushed back. I think Hoffman's pushed back. It's going to be Kerkering in that 4th, 5th, 6th kind of spot for them. So I'll go a Ryan Kerkering on a little bit of a projection.
I love, and that's so on brand for you that I appreciate that. That's good.
Thank you.
I kind of thought when you started going, you were going to do something like, if you look at the numbers, Ruiz is showing. I was waiting for it.
I'm not a stat guy. Strictly eye test.
No, well, yeah,
that is not our brand. Danny, the fact that you brought stats to this fight makes me a little upset. I'll be honest. That is Bush League stuff from you.
I know. I do it once every 5 weeks. So relax.
Right. So I'm gonna go with my fireman of the year. I love that all three of us have a different one because sometimes I guess I do pick Bugs Bunny. It is Jeff Hoffman for me. You want to give me your dirtiest, sleaziest innings? Bring in Jeff Hoffman. I have no doubt in my mind he is going to do what he's going to need to do. You need someone to clean up Charlie Sheen's mess? Bring in Jeff Hoffman. He's going to get the job done. I love him to pieces, and he just everything about his vibe is what I want in a reliever. He reminds me of Johnny Lawrence from Karate Kid and Cobra Kai. Like he's exactly who I want. 100%. Jeff Hoffman all day, every day. Yes.
I was waiting for it.
Damn right. All right. Now
he was my second answer.
Yeah, there you go.
I love it.
Yeah. He was my second.
We're 3 for 3.
He's pretty good. The Jeff Hoffman guy's pretty good. Would like to extend him if possible.
Not too shabby. I'll take him all day. 2-time All Valley champion. You gotta love it.
Nice.
All right. So, Danny, this is a question you and I have been asking each other all year long.
Love it.
Yeah.
Most likely to Greg Dobbs. We have gone back and forth. You and I have traded barbs. I'm super excited for Jack's answer, but first I'm going to give him ours, and that is for me, Edmundo Sosa. He's got that Gene Segura vibe to him. There's something about him that I think he's not going to falter in the moment, and he's got a little magic in his bat, dude. Edmundo Sosa all day. How about you, Dano?
Cody the Rake.
Like that. And why young Cody Clemens, the son of the rocket, the missile? What do you call the son of a rocket?
Yeah, I don't know.
Torpedo, missile?
Sure.
I think it's I guess a missile. I guess they're smaller. Torpedoes are underwater, so that can't work.
Yeah,
you're right. You're right. That's
that's
a cricket term.
Yeah, not a big science guy, but I think that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Works.
So I've been this question I think was tailor-made for me, which I appreciate because all I care about is who's the Greg Dobbs. Everyone can talk about the stars. They have the right guys. They have a clutch gene. But if you don't have a guy that can hit 300 off the bench, what's the point of even going out there and lacing them up? So I'm mad that Danny took Cody Clemens. He's been my Dobbsy all year, no doubt about it. And he has a bit of a clutch feel to him, which I appreciate. And I think he's going to be playing a good amount because I think Johan Rojas, they seem like they are kind of stuck with what they want to do there. Do they want to have him not start the game if you're facing, if you're facing a righty and then bring him in late for defensive stuff? Either way, there's going to be multiple scenarios, I think, where you're going to need a Cody Clemens at bat in the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, whatever, where Johan Rojas is up, and they got to make a decision of do we stick with him or do we go to a pinch hitter? And I think the pinch hitter they trust a lot is Cody Clemens.
Yeah. Will they go to the pinch hitter though?
I think so. There's been enough talk about it, and I know that last year with the Game 7 still haunts everyone, but
yeah.
They talked about it on. Thompson was on the air today talking about it. So it seems like they've been telegraphing that one for a little bit. So I do think that's going to be something they're definitely going to consider.
It didn't work out, but wasn't that what the whole Witt signing was all about?
100% right. 100%
yeah,
right.
So Well, what are you getting a sense that they're platooning left and center? Center with like a Marsh Rojas platoon and a Cody Hayes in left.
Weston.
Oh, and Weston. Yeah, I think Weston's in there as well. I thought
No
if the
Diet Hunter
Brewers,
Pence. I don't need to see Diet Hunter Pence this year. I don't think.
I thought if the Brewers won tonight, given the amount of righties they have, they don't have a lefty starter. I thought maybe they would go with Cal Stevenson on the roster just to have another center fielder. But now that they lost, I don't think that's the case anymore. But I mean, again, Rob Thompson said yesterday that Austin Hayes might play every day, so they seem pretty convinced. I still think if I was betting money on it, I think the majority that we get is going to be Rojas Marsh. I think that when they've needed wins, I think that they've gone with those two. So that's what I think.
Alex is trying to get Diet Hunter Pence going.
I really am for Austin Hayes. I feel like he is a low-cal Hunter Pence.
Well, I mean, I just call him morning track power. It's just he
That's exactly it. Exactly it, man. It's wild. It's like Stubbs, when Stubbs hits one of those just missiles and launch and it goes like 120 yards.
Yeah.
Like, what just happened here? Yeah, no, 100%. All right. So that brings us in a weird roundabout kind of way to our 2024 breakout star of the year. Danny, who you got?
Yeah, so this might be a cop-out, and I apologize, but I am going with the bench. I mean, you got Cody the Rake, Cal Stevens laying down that bunt. Like, I love that bunt, man. Buddy Kennedy forcing a huge walk. Weston Wilson coming off. Sosa just playing out of his shoes when Turner was out. Like, I'm giving it to the bench.
I love it. How about you, Jack? Who's your breakout star this year?
So again, my only goal for this podcast is to keep you two on your toes. So I refuse to give chalk answers. And my breakout star of the 2024 season is Caleb Cotham.
Okay.
Go on. Because we have been fairly critical of the managerial and training staff. So make the case, brother.
Well, Caleb Cotham's phenomenal.
You wax poetically about him on your show, so please take the time wax poetically about him on ours.
Well,
for sure.
I mean, we should rename Philadelphia Gotham City. It just matters. Now, I cannot blame Taiwan on him, and I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. And the fifth starter spot was awful. I mean, we're dealing with Colby Allard, Seth Johnson, Taiwan Walker, whatever that was for the last 2 months. It was excruciating. But you look at what Sanchez did. You look at what Nola had to bounce back. You look at how great Wheeler's been. You look at a lot of the bullpen pieces. I mean, Hoffman turning into what he's turned into. You look at what Kerkering has turned into. I mean, there's been a lot of pitchers that I think that they've gotten the most out of. And if you ask people what has made this Phillies team different than the last couple of years or why do you believe more, it's not the offense, even though the offense is a lot of the high-paid guys because there's still that feeling in your gut that they're going to chase all over the place. It's the pitching. And when you have the three that they have, you have six in the bullpen and you feel pretty good about them. I mean, again, Jose Ruiz was not on the Diamondbacks roster last year, essentially, and he has potential to take down some big innings for the Phillies. So I think Caleb Cotham is really, really good, and I hope he continues to stays here, first of all, but I hope that people continue to praise him.
I like it. You know what? I'm critical, but I can find love for Caleb. Damn it. That's great. I like that you went a little bit outside the box. I did too. So for my thought process, I wanted someone that we all know and love and have known and loved for years, but the national stage has really started to understand and appreciate this person's power, and the national media, the national audience has really started to appreciate this person's game, and that's John Kruk. I think, from being featured on the Colbert Report to, Apple TV actually bringing on T-Mac and Kruk. They did that because Kruk is just eyeballs and ears. He has been delightful. Every story he tells has the possibility of making thousands of children worldwide just smile happily. So my breakout star of the year on a national level, John Kruk, all day.
That's actually a fair one. I mean, a couple of his stories was the prison story or jail story. That
Classic.
went viral. I think he is
adopting the child with T-Mac.
Yeah, I think the Mets booth is probably the most known, I guess, in baseball. But I think Kruk is of the local guys. I think people are all in on John Kruk.
100%. You can't get better.
He
Yeah,
was on last week tonight. Is that the name of the John Oliver show?
Yes, I
yeah.
do.
Was that like
It was.
3 weeks ago? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Oh,
he's my moment of zen every time.
nice.
Darn right. All right, Jack, we did this last award just for you. We are
Thank you.
fans of a good Phillies bit, but we know that no one calls out a good Phillies bit quite like you and James Seltzer on the High Hopes podcast. So, what's the 2024 Phillies bit of the year?
Yeah, so it's tough because we talked about it on the pod a couple times where we were like, well, where is it? You know, where's the hey, we're gonna hit a huge home run, everyone's gonna get super excited, and then we're gonna blow the save. You know, that was a patent of the 2023 Phillies. It was the worst experience of all time. So, but I think that the most consistent bit, if we're looking for consistency, because that's key to a great bit, is the Cook to Dave Dombrowski signing, where it's Chase Anderson a couple years ago. It's Matt Moore, Jerry's Familia, Didi, Craig Kimbrell, who I don't care that he was an all-star, still cooked. And this year, Whit Merrifield. It's a tradition unlike any other. They let him, the analytics department, barring their better judgment, they say, all right, Dave, you get one. You get one of these old guys. Hopefully you get it right. And for the fourth straight year, did not get it right. So I can't kill him too much because I was very excited when they signed Whit Merrifield. But nevertheless, the Dave Dombrowski signing a cooked player and the guy still being cooked, even though they paid him a good amount of money for the fourth year in a row, is the bit of the year.
I talked myself into Kimbrel. That is a well-tested, just phenomenal bit.
Tried and true, as they could say. Yeah.
That is the Kimbrel blown save off the Harper's 300th. That one was infuriating.
I forgot about that game.
The funny thing about even the Kimbrel signing is Baltimore gave him a million more. He got a raise. He got a raise at the end. Like, insane.
For such a smart team, they're so dumb.
Amen.
Absolutely.
So, all right then. If you have it, who's on your radar for next year's Dombrowski signing?
That's a fair question. I feel like it's going to be some kind of starter, because they're going to want someone for Taiwan's going to be in spring training, so everyone.
We know.
Sorry to break the news to you, but he's probably going to be in spring training. But they're going to want like a Turnbull kind of guy, but Turnbull is probably done. Again, I keep just asking for a John Lester signing. Guy knows how to win, He could be Jamie Moyer, you know what I mean? So him, I don't know. I gotta kind of look at the free agents, but it'll happen. It's been going on for too long, so I look forward to the signing.
I would not mind a 40-year-old guy with a whole bunch of stuff. That'd be amazing,
dude. Come on, give me 06 Kenny Rogers that is pitching in the ALCS. That's who I want. Dude, all right, I got it. Never a doubt. It took me 3 seconds. Scherzer. I mean, he's gonna pay Scherzer, right?
Fantastic call. That's
or
a fantastic
Verlander.
Call.
Or Verlander.
Someone's gonna pay Verlander $40 million next year, whatever the hell he gets paid annually. Something ridiculous.
There's so many names. You know, else is a free agent. Not to turn this into an off-season podcast, but Kenley Jansen's a free agent.
Ooh,
I mean,
that's got Philly written all over it.
That's got he might as well, if they could sign Charlie Blackmon. I know he's retiring, but that feels like a name that would make a lot of sense. But I do think the number one seed early as we get into this would definitely be Kenley Jansen.
I like that. That's good. And honestly, Danny, that kind of segues us perfectly into our next segment.
It kills it a little, but yeah, we'll do it. So
no, it's perfect.
Chasey's, let us take a moment and I guess respectfully
remember those that we've lost this season.
Thank you, Alex. You should have done it.
All right. So which of those former players, Danny, hurts you the most to see no longer in a Phillies uniform? Like who do you
I'm
really
good.
have your hope? Really, no one.
No. I know you were. No, I'm
You
fine.
know who
I'm
I'm going to
fine.
say, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Who am I going to say?
You were gonna say Pinto, man. That was you wanted
Absolutely
him to
not.
be
That was a
something. Oh, really?
that was a
That was
great
just the
pun for 2
okay.
games.
It's
No,
a
Sir
great story,
Anthony.
though.
It's a great story. It's a phenomenal pun. We had to sell the Pinto, man. It got chopped up for parts. What are you gonna do? But no, Sir Anthony all day. I had such
Oh
high hopes
yeah.
for
I
him.
sorry if I
He
thought for a
broke my heart.
second I would have known that. Yeah, maybe.
All right. But you know what, Danny? While we're getting into it, while we're being honest, let's be honest, man. We have again danced around this, skirted around this all year. So I got to ask you, do the 2024 Phillies possess clutch? All right. 2024 Reese was clutch against Strider. Harper was clutch for the Bedlam. And in 2023, Stotty was clutch against the Fish. Harper was clutch when someone had to show RC the door. But in Arizona, there wasn't a drip of clutch. Does this team have it? And where's it going to come from in this postseason? What do you think, Jack?
So it's tough because I do agree with you. They kind of ran out of steam with that. And I guess the biggest fear, or one of the bigger fears that I have, is this team when they are out in front, how do they handle that? It's almost like they like being the underdogs. And, like they won the division, but also got super kind of choppy there in the middle where they could have easily ran away with the 1 seed, but they had to play 500 baseball for 2.5 months, which is excruciating. So I think it's a fair thing to bring up. I guess I would just try to lend on this is a team that's been in a lot of big games, and I just to say they're clutch is more they're the scrappy underdog kind of thing. And the biggest thing that's changed with them is that now that they are theoretically one of the big dogs in the National League. So it's harder for them to be clutch. Now, I think with Harper, I think that's where you have to have him be the clutch guy. I mean, Jeter was the clutch guy for the Yankees. We know that. So I think it comes down to stars, and with this series with the Mets, what worries me, and I don't think Pete Alonso's clutch. I don't really care about the home run tonight. I know that he did it, and congratulations, and he's just the biggest dork in baseball. But like Lindor has some a good amount of clutch feel to him. So it's a hard thing to quantify in baseball, because it's so easy to say, well, they fail 7 out of 10 times and they're considered good. So I think it's a tough thing to quantify. I do think that last year the magic kind of ran out, and then when they got out in front, it was harder for them to kind of pull themselves out of it. I hope they learned from that, but I think it's a fair point.
No, I think that's a great call, and I agree with you. As I was running through the past clutchedness since 2022, it was a lot of the big names. It was Reese, it was Bryce many times. So you gotta wonder who it's going to be this time. I don't know. A part of me feels it's Schwarber's turn. He's been consistent, but I haven't seen a whole lot of clutch moments from him this year. But then again, I guess if you need someone in a clutch moment, that means that
he had the home run that saved the season.
Well, this year, absolutely, yes. I mean, and that's so true. Because with him this year, it wasn't just the home runs, which we all love and adore. It was what he did with his batting average. It was bringing that back up, being this, nicely done on the reformat there, Danny. I like that. It was him bringing his batting average up and being that all around leadoff man that we all know that he is and has always been meant to be. Hi, Danny.
Would never doubt that. Yep. Would never doubt him being the leadoff hitter.
Not one bit. Not one bit. How about you, Dano?
Yeah. So it's the things that everyone worries about and complains about. Like, so you talk about clutch and you get those clutch moments. I feel that's where you're seeing the expanding the zone and the pressing and if they can curb that, I think every one of them could be clutch, right? It would be nice to see Schwarber not do that quiet NLDS thing this year. But I have a feeling that it's coming from the pitching staff this year. Like that is where we're going to see our clutch stuff. So one of the worries with like the Braves, or not the Braves, if it were to have been the Brewers, was you're going to get some whatever games, depending on what Phil's offense comes out. The Brewers didn't hit much. They wouldn't hit much. Those are going to be pitching games, 2-1 games, 3-2 games. So I think our clutchness is going to come out of the bullpen in those first 3 starters. I would love for this whole Topper, and even like on that bus rally thing that goes to the city. I'm all over the place on the screen. Sorry. Whatever that Q&A bus rally thing that they're doing. If Ben Davis was saying it, this whole like hope of Ranger, the adrenaline playoff, man, I hope they're right, but I think, and if that is true, if you get that playoff adrenaline and that's all that cures Ranger, then there you go. My clutch is coming out of the pitching staff.
I hope so, man, but I don't know. There's a difference between slumping and injured, and I don't think Ranger's been right since that he took that liner off the hand, and that's the thing that's been worrying me. And it's all just cascaded. Like maybe that specific injury has healed, but the way he's had to compensate, the way he's had to change his mechanics and stuff to get power away from the hand. I don't know, man. I pray to God that our Lord and Savior Ranger Suarez is playoff Ranger in the next couple of days. But if he's not, dude, like my man's injured. He needs some time to rest up. I hear you though.
Yeah, the Ranger thing's a big swing here. I mean, it's a big swing for the series again, because if he's not good in Game 4, and it looks like the Ranger that we've seen the last 4 starts, they have to make a decision there if they win in advance, if they're going to let him pitch in the NLCS. Do they have to go Turnbull? Do they have to go more of an opener? So Ranger's a big swing, and it just depletes your bullpen by not having a starter be able to go deep into a game.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And time will tell. Time will tell. Oh, goddamn it. Baseball. It's got me amped up, Danny. So I have to ask, what's got you amped up, bud?
Yeah, so I'm doing whatever. I'm just get me to Saturday. So I'm mildly amped up. I'm gonna do 2 things. Yeah, I'm mildly amped up. If you would ask me a handful of days ago, before the postseason started, I would have said it was the final day of baseball, the final game. So there's just, even for teams that aren't in the hunt, going to the dance in October, the way baseball just connects with people and makes memories. And Hap tossing the ball up with a couple of hundos, telling the fans the beers are on him. Joey Bowser running out alone at the last Rockies game.
What is that reference? No one gets the Joey Bowser reference, Danny.
I'm still rolling with it. I like it.
I love you. I appreciate the consistency and your dedication to the bit.
Thank you. The emotion.
It's the most important thing you can do. It's the most important thing you can do.
Hammer it home. Someone will enjoy it. The emotion you saw at the Coliseum, like even the whole hard not to be romantic about baseball, right? And even if your team isn't going to dance, there's ways to connect with the fans and make these memories and make baseball special, make viral moments, and I just love it.
I'm here for it. Nicely done, Danny. For someone that was only moderately amped up, well played.
I've ranted more, but I figure we'll keep it positive this time.
You ranted more? No,
I have.
All right. So what's got me amped up, man? The baseball
poop
gods.
Series.
Oh, poop series. Love it or hate it, brother. Okay. Here's my thing with the baseball gods. Okay. I do not want to anger them. I do not want to revel in the misery of the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Atlanta Braves, because I know if I do that, they're just going to pay me back. But man, it is really nice to be able to watch and listen to Jimmy Eat World again now that the Arizona Diamondbacks have been eliminated. It's so great that Brian Snicker doesn't get to say, it's the bye. That's why we weren't able to win, guys. It was the bye. No, it wasn't the bye, man, because you didn't have it this year and you still shit the bed. So the baseball gods are...
Oh, that's a little unfair, but okay.
I stand by my statements because at this point, why not? But no, so the baseball gods, I want to do right by
Joey Bowser.
I want to do right by them. I don't want to upset them, but They can be cruel and they can be fickle, and I can't wait to see what version shows up starting Saturday. Jack, how about you? What's got you amped up, man?
Well, I'm naturally a pretty chill person, so I don't largely get amped up very often. But this
You
is
can
going to
be
sound,
moderately amped up.
this is going to sound petty's probably not the word, but you can be the judge of it. And I just think that the Mets a little bit amateur hour, that they're trying to like claim Willie Mays as a Met when he was a Met for 2 years. And Willie Mays is an all-time great, and he's a giant. He's not a Met. So they're wearing a 20, and hopefully this is bad karma. This is what I'm willing into existence. They're wearing a 24 patch for Willie Mays, best baseball player of all time if you want to make the case. But Ed Kranepool was a Met for when he was 17 until he was 34. Where's the Ed Kranepool patch? So I think they're tempting fate here for a guy that was a Met at the end of his career versus an all-time Met in Ed Kranepool. So that's my hope for the NLDS, that they are disrespecting a legend in Ed Kranepool, and it will cost them a chance to go to the World Series in the NLCS.
Fantastic. You hear that, baseball gods? We just talked about you.
Do the right thing.
Back down.
Do the right thing.
Do the right thing. I love it.
You know what I'm amped up about, Alex?
What
You're calling me out on my Joey Bowser reference, and I've never said anything about you and your Charlie Sheen thing. So
hold on. His name is Carlos Estevez. Charlie Sheen's birth name is Carlos Estevez. What do you want from me? Furthermore, if I expect someone to potentially blow it, it's going to be either Charlie Sheen or Carlos Estevez. So I'm standing by it until he gives me that moment where he earns his name back. It's Charlie Sheen. Okay.
So, Jack, on these segments, I have done epic rants on Braves fans, and there was one a few weeks ago where I had said maybe about 10 times in a 20-minute rant, what year are these guys living in? So when you said on the Monday High Hopes that they tweet like it's 2012, I lost my stuff. So,
well, it's crazy. Getting trapped in Braves Twitter, it's like you can't even take them seriously. They're so dumb. They're so dumb.
I've killed so many minutes on that, but yes, absolutely. It's infuriating, and I'm glad I wasn't the only one that realized that they are lost in the time machine. So hearing that just validated it, and I loved it, and I love you even more for it.
Good.
And guess what? That brings us to love it, hate it.
What's that, Danny? Love it, hate it. All right. So this week, and Jack, as someone that gets to go to CBP during the postseason often, you guys are doing Final Out all weekend?
So we're doing pregame, postgame, all that good stuff. So we're there.
That's awesome. I love that. And what we want to know is, love it or hate it, Citizens Bank Park magic.
So it's funny. People just say how, and I think it's a really tough place to play. It's just the way that people assume they win all the time there and that they never lose. It makes me more nervous talking about how great the home field advantage is, which it is. But at the same time, I saw them get no hit there. I saw them lose game 5 there. I saw them lose game 6 and 7 there. So I just don't want it to be a crutch that we can just say, well, they're unbeatable at home. They're not. So I think we fall a little bit too much on how, it's a Seltzer staple. I mean, if there's one thing that Seltzer will just thirst about, it is the CBP crowds, which I also love. But a part of me is worried that we harp on it so much that it comes back to bite us. Again, I'm worried about pretty much everything at this standpoint. So I really need a game to just get started and we can move on and get this over with and hopefully just knock the Mets out and, just squash them. But the CBP magic, when they're winning, it's great. My biggest fear about this year is the expectations have changed so much from 2 years ago where it was like, this is the greatest thing of all time. What is this? To last year where it was, it came out of nowhere. when they lost Game 6 and 7 to this year where there's expectations to go to the World Series. You're playing the Mets and that ballpark getting tight, and I hate a tight ballpark. So I'm actually more worried about a tight ballpark than I am like, here comes the CBP magic.
No, I think that's perfectly fair.
Yeah, you're right there with us. We've talked about it. I think we've talked about it on the show. We talk about it just between us. So that's exactly how we feel about it. Listen, it's a magical place. It's fun. I was, but much like James, I was. I also want my epitaph to be I was in the park for Bedlam at the Bank. So.
Nice.
Yeah, so like feeling that's great. I was there for Game 7 in the NLCS last year, and I don't know how you felt about it, but it felt tight walking into it. Like even the gate employees were on edge. Like I was with my girlfriend Kim, we walked through. Like everyone was just on edge from even before entering the park, and you felt it. That being said, I
thought game six I was worried during pregame because I think everyone. I just remember feeling like everyone just expects them to win tonight. There's like no doubt about it, and I was like, this is not. We need to have a little bit more fear, like we just do as a fan base. There needs to always be what other shoe is about to drop, and I felt that last year in Game 6.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. I feel people were feeling that way, but that being said, I was also getting just inundated with messages of people that knew I was at the game, like, "Hey, you gotta make them win. Like you're there. It's your job." I'm like, "No, dude. Like, give me a break. Like, I'm not fielding grounders. I'm not expanding the zone here. Like, stop blowing up my phone telling me it's on me. Like, yeah, I'm here, but this place is pretty puckered at the moment."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Jack, I'm curious actually on that note. So going into 6 to 7, you were a little bit kind of verklempt at the overabundant, not arrogance, not cocky, but like the extreme belief going on. As someone that does have that pregame platform, where do you kind of stand on kind of bringing out the reality of it or not squashing people's hopes before they get in? Like, how does that kind of equate for you?
Yeah, it's one of those things where if you're going to the ballpark, you want to be excited. So, you kind of lean into it. It was more, I think I might have mentioned it. I forget if I did. If I did and I said it off the air, like, this feels odd. It feels odd. So I think in that scenario, it's Game 6. They just won Game 5. We're here to fire everyone up rather than, it's one of those things where you end up being, I wouldn't say I was right, but I don't want to, I'm not a nana boo boo guy, like stick your head in doo doo, I was right kind of, guy. So it's like, what's the upside? The upside is, oh, congratulations, you thought they were going to lose a Game 6 at home when they just won Game 5 and the Stars look like the Stars. So it's all about upside for me. And to kind of be like, this is weird, stop being so happy, they still have to win a ball game. It's more miserable than anything. So I put it to the side and filed it away.
That's probably smart. That's probably for the best. Honestly, Danny, you and I, if we had more of a platform, our negativity over the last during the slump could have been very bad for the city of Philadelphia. If we had more ears on us, we could have really created a cloud of depression. Over
you gotta toe the line. You gotta toe the line. Like,
well,
you can't say they're screwed, or else you look like kind of an idiot because they're going to be the 1 or 2 seed and they're going to win the NL East. But you can't just say they're fine. Just kick your feet up. So this was a challenging season. It was exhausting. It was challenging, but we made it out the other side, and hopefully they don't let us down.
I'm with you. It absolutely was. See, we have the freedom of not being professionals and just being two hoagie mouths ranting on the internet.
Yeah. Well, you're a hoagie mouth. I'm a sheets mouth, Danny.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're big fans of you, but and that is one of the things we mentioned it many times on this show. We have Jack Fritz to thank about this for pointing out that we are watching this season through the glass of what is going to kill them in October. So that makes a baseball season even more miserable.
Oh, it's awful. It's awful.
Yeah,
I've been thinking about Red October since May. I mean, it's here. And I'm nervous. So whatever. It's all pointless. Life's pointless. Hopefully they don't lose to the Mets.
You know what, Jack? So we've kind of touched on a lot of Danny's cultural touch points of the year, if you will, with this team. I got to know, what was your take on them just essentially running back the same roster this year that they had last year? Like, how did you feel about that on a confidence level?
I mean, it was the impetus of this podcast, really.
Yeah. Well, my problem was, I don't know where the obvious upgrade was, and if you were saying Castellanos, I hear you. He ended up being pretty good. So, I mean, we'll see how it goes in October. Hopefully he stops or does not chase, like the podcast says. But I guess I talked myself into it just because they're doubling down on the inner fire. I guess I just don't know where the super big upgrade was, other than if they wanted to just build a super bullpen. I don't think anyone was taking Castellanos' contract. They weren't trading JT. They were not going to re-sign Reese. Stott was there. Bohm was there. Turner was there. You had to figure out center field. I think they wanted to give Rojas a shot because they like him. So I ended up being fine with it. It was a really boring winter. We're going to have to plan better this year because they probably, outside of signing Soto, probably aren't going to do too much. But, I think the I guess worry about heading into this postseason, even though it's not really worry, but is this might be the last run of these guys. Because if they come up short, whether it's NLCS or I think if they make the NLCS, you're not going to blow up the entire core, and even if they lose in the NLDS, but there's going to be some kind of shakeup if they lose to the Mets, I think.
Well, you definitely have to put work into the outfield, get that all figured out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Other than that, you really do. Where's some movement?
Exactly. I agree. Yeah. So we'll see. We're pretty locked in here. So hopefully they can just get the freaking job done and we don't have to worry about it.
That'd be nice.
LFG, man, ring the bell. Ring the bell.
Right.
Jack Fritz, thank you so much, man, for coming on. This was truly a pleasure. Again, Danny and I are huge fans of you and James.
We are.
Thank you.
We love your dynamic. I'm the nerd in our. Danny's the one that doesn't check out any pop culture things other than Twilight. So we are
Twilight.
I don't get that.
That's awesome. I'm so happy for you. I didn't know it was like 2008 again.
No, man, it is, and it's great. I love it.
We all have our apparently not guilty pleasures. So
God, dude, it's all good, man. Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Screaming from I love it.
If there's anything that I've learned in doing radio is you gotta just lean into everything. So you gotta lean into Twilight. You're the Twilight Phillies podcast guy.
Absolutely, I will take that. I was showing Alex earlier. My mic stand is actually Breaking Dawn. So
wow,
I'm into it. Unabashed, man. Unabashed.
God love you. I made the night before postseason, so I guess we're both nerds.
I love that. That was good stuff. That was more work than I put into high hopes. So it's good. It's good. I'll steal it. No, I'm just kidding.
It's completely on brand for Alex. So
it's great. Super on brand. I am the corny dad at dance class through and through.
Well, my corniness has gone up. I'm about to be a dad of two. So
yes.
I haven't purchased the white New Balances yet, but I can feel them. I can feel it coming.
You can sidestep that into some very tasteful Pumas, and no one's going to side eye you.
Now, I am a Birkenstock guy. True. I'm a Birkenstock guy, so I think we're trending towards being a dad guy. Now, I am reversing the gut. I'm fighting against the dad bod. Again, I'm going to run 11 miles on Saturday morning. So
absolutely,
damn right you are. Damn right you are.
Thank you. So we'll see. But I appreciate you guys supporting the podcast. It's our favorite thing in the world. So
it's one of ours too. So
awesome,
yes.
man.
Jack, thank you. We cannot thank you enough. We don't know how. So
no, it's all good. And hopefully, if we're, if you're at the ballpark, let me know.
Absolutely.
I usually am an Octobersman, but sometimes I'm there during the regular season. And now that Walker's getting a little bit older, I got to get him down to the bank as often as I can. So, I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks. And we'll do better next week, everyone. Thanks for listening. Everyone knows Sinan can't move a rubber tree plant.